Tonight, the final part of my interview with Los Angeles Angels manager and Hazleton native Joe Maddon. While reminiscing about Hazleton High School football, Maddon mentioned how important the Thanksgiving Day game with West Hazleton was and what it meant to the community. He says the area is missing that today and shared his idea for a basketball tournament. That tournament would honor Hazleton Area Sports Hall of Famer Fran Libinati, who's a former Hazleton High School athlete, basketball coach, and teacher.
Why would we want to put together a basketball tournament honoring Mr. Libinati as an example? There's so much stuff back there that needs to be, you take what happened in the past and you bring it to contemporary times and have everybody meet it in the middle so that people from the past, they're re-energized by this memory, and the kids that are there now learn a little bit about the history. Then you arrive at this juncture where both sides could agree on some things. I would love to see a Mr. Libinati basketball tournament. Somehow I got to figure that out.
I think it was my first time interviewing you, or our second. You gave me a book recommendation, and I wanted to show people I read despite my pronunciation on the news sometimes. You told me World Without End by Ken Follett. And the problem with that was I was like, all right, this is a big book. I didn't realize it was the sequel to Pillars of the Earth, so I first had to read that. What are you doing during quarantine? You have so many interests. You like reading, I mean, food, music. What have you been doing?
Tell you what I just saw. One of my other favorite books is on HBO as a movie on May 14th. I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. I just happened to be looking at Twitter this morning, and it just popped up. I can't remember the fella's name. Ruffalo, is that the right name?
Mark Ruffalo?
Yes, he's the guy that put it together. I Know This Much Is True. A little bit on the dark side, but when I read this by Wally Lamb, it was right up there with those two books that you have and Pat Conroy. Any of Pat Conroy's, but Beach Music was the first one that I loved by him. Prince of Tides, The River Is Wide, My Losing Season, everything that he wrote, I read. And right now what I'm reading sporadically is Travels with Charlie by Steinbeck. I never realized what a great writer he was until I did a gig at Orange County Rescue Mission in January where we did the homeless, our Thanksmas there. And one of the fellows living there told me that me riding around in my RV reminded him of Steinbeck and Travels with Charlie. I said, great, I'll buy that book. Thank you for the recommendation. Minutes later, he walked out with the book, his version, his copy. And I started to read it, and I'm still reading it, but God, he's good. Steinbeck is really, really good. So the way he writes, his style, his prose, it really resonates. I just think the guy's fascinating. So, and furthermore, he grew up in Salinas, where I played 2 summers. So when he talks about that area out there, it's weird, man. You do this thing called living long enough, you could really connect some dots.